Hey guys, this is Master Cog coming to you with a review. I know this is not Bionicles, which are usually where I go to for reviews, but there hasn't been a lot going on with Bionicles on me. I haven't had a lot of space to build, but I want to keep on reviewing things, and now that I have this new, nice studio that actually has quite a bit of headroom, and it's just nice. It came with these two really nice lights. So I can actually start getting some quality into my videos. So now that I've got this, I'd like to go over a few things that I got for Christmas, like these Mark V and Mark VI 1/10 scale statues from, I believe, Artifix. Now, I should preface, these are statues. When in the box, right, you can look at them and almost think that they're figures due to the joints that you see on the unarmored pieces, right? But don't get confused. These are not figures. They are posable statues, okay? Now, I don't often review products. I usually go with mocks, but I thought it'd be a change to start reviewing things that I buy so that you could make an educated purchase if you're ever looking at one of these things. Now, I'd like to state that although this used to cost $100 and it's about a year old, this used to cost $100. For last Christmas, right, I got it for 30 bucks. So, and I believe it was purchased from a GameStop, so these things have been on major sale. And I think, I'm just going to give you my opinion now and then we'll go into pros and cons. I think they're worth it. I think they look good, right? Now, let's go over the pros, right? So, one of my favorite things, right, are these little plates that say Halo on them that you can just magnetically stick them to, right? And I particularly like the range of motion that you get with the arms, right? I can have them sticking as magnum up at the camera. I find issues using the sword and making it look cool, right? But it does come with two magnums, two swords, so you can just go dual magnums if you want. And it also can be used without any weapons, but honestly I think that looks bad. Another great benefit, right, is let's zoom in on him real quick. The level of detail these things have, right? This just looks so good. And poor focus there, but I mean, geez, and the joints are very unobscure, right? No, they're obscure, I believe, yes. And that means they're really out of the way, right? When looking at it, it's hard to tell that there are even joints there. And another huge plus for me, at least, is the Mark V armor itself. I'm a huge fan of the Mark V, and the Mark VI isn't that bad either. Okay, so that's about it for the pros. I know it doesn't sound like there's a lot of them, but I think they definitely outweigh the cons, especially for the price I got these for. If you find them for the $100 price tag, don't get them. If they're on sale, right, for around 30 bucks, you know, that's when you pick them up. I think that's when they're a worthwhile purchase. Okay, now let's move him out of the way and get into some of the major gripes I have. Now, I just went over how the Mark V armor is my favorite armor across all of Halo. I just love how tanky it looks. I have a major problem with how they designed it though. If we look here, at the back of the legs, it's just bare, right? I didn't get any other armor plating to put there. And the armor's not jointed on very well, so it just wiggles around willy-nilly. And it does not look good. It looks fine from the front, right? You can't tell, but this is bad, and I hate that because it's got a really nice detailed backpack, right? And the backpack of the Mark V armor is one of my favorite things about it, right? I don't really care much for these newer style backpacks that the Mark VI has, although I guess that does look really good, right? But I don't like it as much as this classic reactor pack that the Mark V armor has. And this little handle, I cannot get over how much I love that. But we're going through cons right now, so I digress. The Mark 6 does not have that problem with the back of the legs, though. So, but it's so bad. Another thing is their body stance has them leaning back, right? So, if you look at that, it allows you to lean forward a little bit, but if we, let me detach the armor here real quick. We detach the chest plate, right? You can see that the body just wants him to lean back. And he looks a little goofy without the chest, but even though they did put great detail even on the gel mat, right? But look at that, he's leaning back all the time and you can't get him to go too much forward. So, and that's the same with the other body. As far as I know, the bodies are identical, which, you know, lore-wise, that wouldn't make a lot of sense because, at least with the Mark V armor, right, you wouldn't just pick and choose the different types of armor you want and put them on the same gel. The gel had to be made to fit with the armor. Of course, I guess this is modular Spartan 4 Mark V and not the classic Mark V as we see in Halo CE, which was just the gel and I put the plate on backwards. But yeah, I just don't like that. And the armor on the shoulders is especially wiggly. It does not like to stay, see? Right? And then the wrist armor can come down and make the hand slowly fall off. So there are some major issues I have with this, right? But that being said, I do think that these are worth it, especially for the price point, because the wiggly armor, right, and the stuff that falls off, it doesn't fall off if you're not trying to pose it, right? So if I get this shoulder back up there and I put it in the pose that I want it on, let's go with good old looking down the magnum sights, right? And then I'll zoom out. That looks good. That looks like something you just want to have sitting there, and that's exactly what this is for. Now, of course, I moved the leg armor out of the way. That's one of my major gripes there. But it just looks good. It's good for setting someplace, right? I don't see an issue. And, you know, although I'm not as big of a fan of the Mark 6 armor, it does have a special place in my heart for, you know, its use. And I guess this isn't... Here's the weird thing I have about the Mark 6 armor, right? And this is just in Halo in general, right? Is that in Halo 5, right, in Halo 4, I don't know why I said Halo 5 first, but in Halo 5 and Halo 4, right, the Chief does not wear this Mark 6 armor. He wears the Reaper variant. I believe it's the Reaper variant. If you go into Halo 5 and you look at the Reaper arm plates and chest piece, right, it looks so similar to what the Chief is wearing, and then you just slap on a Mark 6 helmet and you almost have the Chief, but it's just ever so different, right? Now, they explain this in lore, saying that the Mark 6 armors, right, they have nanomachinery in them that when in cryosleep, they change. But that doesn't change the fact that you can't wear the Chief's armor in Halo 4 or Halo 5, and unless you want to get a Chief statue, you're not going to find it on any of these differently colored figures or statues. So that's just a gripe I have with this, with the decisions of 343 in general. And it's a very minor gripe, right? And this still looks good, even if it does have that ugly ass blue visor. I can get over that. But really, for me, the main selling point, the main selling point is the Mark V armor. Even if it has those leg issues, it just looks so good. And you can even have them back to back like I did in the beginning of the video and just put them someplace and it will look good. Right? That's a fantastic little setup. And if you're like me and, you know, you are or were a major, you know, red versus blue fan, this is perfect, right? You got Caboose, and then I guess Sarge, but they don't give him a shotgun, and his visor's blue, so maybe not so much Sarge, but you got Caboose. you cannot be mad with having Caboose, right? So yeah, now I would like to state that these were not sold separately. This was a dual package, so for that $30 price tag, you're getting both of these statues. You don't have to, you know, try and find one and then get the other if you're interested in these, right? So that's about that. So yeah, overall, I recommend it. Again though, if you're looking at these for some sort of more posable diorama action figure, right, this won't do you well. This is only for display purposes, right? And for that purpose, I think these do a fantastic job. Either way, this has been MasterCog999, and I'm signing off. Have a good one.